Being in this industry for almost a decade at this point, I've witnessed an insane amount of trend shifts from being able to land a software development job by spending, 3 days learning JavaScript to now basically having to sell your kidney to land your first job. There was this pre-COVID market where again, you could just say the word coding and then land a 100K a year job. And then there was this post-COVID market where for a brief moment, software engineers were actually on top of the world. Literally, we were here and then this happened. And since around the late 2021, early 2022 era, the market has been absolutely cooked. And the days of learning a high-level programming language and landing a tech job are unfortunately long gone. Not only that, even computer science students are really struggling to land their first job, even with that 4-year degree. I'm constantly seeing people with computer science degrees, 3 to 6 months out of college, still trying to find that first job. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the time, the people have these skills, and it mostly just comes down to branding and positioning yourself in the right way so you actually get noticed by recruiters and you get the opportunity to interview for a role. Matter of fact, this is exactly what we're teaching people inside of my mentorship program, DevLaunch, which has been live for over 2 months at this point. We've already helped 3 people land 3 six-figure job offers, and we currently have students interviewing at top companies like Amazon and Meta. The program is ran by myself and my 2 co-founders, Kevin and Tim. So if you are struggling to get interviews and pass those interviews, check the link out in the description below and book a free consultation call to see if you'd be a good fit for the program. So anyways, the market is in fact very cooked. And rather than another video filled with copium, I just want to give you my honest and albeit very opinionated take on the developer market and why you probably can't find a job. So first things first, let's talk about who is impacted the most. And it's no surprise that the answer is junior developers. The pretty obvious trend that I'm seeing is that those with a handful of years of experience aren't struggling as much as the more junior developers to land interviews. Matter of fact, I'm consistently hearing about a 3 to 5% application to interview ratio for people with 4 or more years of experience. Now, the senior engineers aren't struggling as much to get opportunities. However, they are usually struggling a bit more to perform in those interviews or even find the motivation to apply. And maybe that's because they're a bit burnt out by the industry, or maybe it's because they remember a time where you could send out 20 applications and get 15 interviews. It's hard to say, but regardless, again, junior developers have never experienced that kind of luxury, and they often have to apply to hundreds of jobs without hearing any callbacks. And this is something that can be incredibly demoralizing and really take a toll on your mental health and your job search. And that simply boils down to how massive the talent pool is right now. And every entry-level job you're seeing is requiring 3 to 5 years of experience, or at least that's what they put on the job application. And while that is absolutely ridiculous, unfortunately, it's not new. And I remember when I was first breaking into this industry, the first full-time entry-level role that I interviewed for wanted 3 to 5 years of experience and a degree. So this has always been a meme. It just feels a lot more prominent today because of how the job market is right now. But the good news is the market is stabilizing a bit and more senior engineers are getting more senior roles, leaving the market open for more junior level roles. So the next thing I want to talk about is this ginormous elephant in the room. Is the thing that everybody just cannot stop talking about, and that is AI and if AI is replacing developer jobs. And I think the reality is it's sort of hard to tell if that is happening right now, right? I haven't heard of many cases where AI is just flat out replacing developers, but it is one of those things that I think is likely to happen in the near future, especially for those junior developers who haven't developed a deeper understanding of code and how to architect a code base. Because look, LLMs are incredible, but they are not an actual substitute for learning. And I think newer junior developers who are learning how to code, looking to get their first job, are relying a little too heavily on AI, and they're sort of handicapping themselves from that deeper understanding. Back in my day, lower level understanding meant working with languages like assembly, maybe C++, managing memory directly. But now it's weird because it feels like AI is just an abstraction on top of a high-level programming language. And as a result, these high-level programming languages are now the lower-level things that people are failing to learn. And I think cheating your way through school or through tutorials when you're first learning how to code with AI will just make your job so much harder if you ever do manage to land one. And that's because of things like legacy code, business context, and then working with large systems. The fact of the matter is AI still isn't that good at handling these things, at least in its current context. Now, I do genuinely think that AI will start phasing out some programmers to some extent, maybe sooner rather than later. But again, it's probably going to be the ones that lack those strong fundamentals and communication skills. Because being a software engineer is not just about writing code. That's not what makes somebody a good software engineer. A good engineer knows how to translate business context and product requirements into working code. They understand how to scale a system and architect code that is maintainable in the long term. And vibe coding might get a product off the ground quickly, but once your code base hits that 10,000 lines of code, AI absolutely starts to fall apart. It struggles to reason, it gets stuck in loops, and most of the times it just cannot solve the real problem that you're facing. Will it get better at these things? Absolutely. But another part about software engineering that people overlook all the time is communication. Again, software engineering isn't just about code. You work with a lot of people, you work with other developers, you work with designers, leadership teams, product managers, and you have to be able to communicate well. You have to know how to collaborate and set expectations and get shit done with other individuals. And until AI can replace all of these roles, QA, product managers, etc., engineers will still need those soft skills. And you have to be emotionally intelligent to know how to work with other people and be successful in this industry. So now let's talk about the future of this space. The truth is, software engineering jobs are still projected to grow by 17% until 2023, which is still 4% higher than just regular jobs. Additionally, and I thought this was really interesting, the amount of people that are enrolling into computer science programs has decreased substantially. So the insane growth from influencers and TikTokers telling people to learn how to code so they can land a $500K a year job is finally stabilizing. And what this boom tells me is that there were many people who joined this industry that honestly probably shouldn't have. And again, maybe that's because of the money factor or the fact that they thought, software engineering was an easy job where you could pretty much just eat all day and write little code. But because it is much harder to find a job now, you will need to be insanely disciplined and you will need to be motivated outside of these factors alone. And the key indication that I've seen if someone is going to be successful in this industry is if they are genuinely passionate about it and if they embrace adopting this coding lifestyle. Because love it or hate it, this is one of those industries where you take your work home with you and you're constantly immersed in this ever-changing landscape. And if you get too stuck in your old ways for too long, you will be left behind. I know personally I wouldn't last a moment in this industry if I didn't genuinely just enjoy writing code and being immersed in this, way of life. So the next thing I want to talk about is that I think some people are giving up a bit too quickly in their job search. And I know it's easy for me to say, so let me just elaborate a bit further. The reality is you need a lot of RNG to land that first rare drop of getting a job. And applying to 100 places and maybe only receiving a single callback honestly sucks. And I totally understand that. It's brutal and getting rejection email after rejection email is incredibly demoralizing. But the reality is in this market, 100 applications is only starting to scratch the surface. Now, various reports say different things, but on average, it's taking anywhere from 200 and in some absolute worst case scenarios, over 1,000 applications to land that first job if you're just relying on applications alone and you're not, networking and getting referrals. And I totally get it's very easy for me to say this from my perspective, being a more senior developer and never having to do this to find a job. But I'm simply just saying that because it is the unfortunate reality of this market. And I also think it's really important to understand that this is the reality for any market outside of software development. Most people have to apply to hundreds of jobs to land their first role. and it's a struggle for people in computer science and outside of computer science. Now, there is a way to shortcut this entire process, and you know exactly what I'm going to say, and that boils down to networking and getting referrals. Now, to get a referral, you need to build up your network. And I think for a lot of people, this idea of networking is a pretty abstract concept because the reality is there is no clear-cut way to build your network. That being said, 3 out of the 4 jobs that I've gotten as a software engineer have been directly through somebody in my network. It's been through a referral. Now, I've personally seen it firsthand, and that's people skipping the pool of thousands of applications, and their resume is brought straight to the top, even if it's not the most amazing resume, simply because they have a referral and they know somebody at that company. So how do you build your network? Now, honestly, this is something that you're going to have to experiment with, and it can take many shapes. It can look like doing more in real life things, more IRL things like meetups and networking events. It can look like building up your online presence and connecting with people that way, especially on LinkedIn. It can look like cold DMing people at companies that you've applied to and asking for a referral. It's really just about figuring out what works for you. Now, finally, let's talk about outsourcing. This is a topic that I'm constantly seeing brought up and something that I have experienced firsthand. It is true that companies are spending more and more on outsourcing developers, especially in the US market, which is great news if you're a dev in another country, and not exactly the most ideal news for US-based employees. Matter of fact, at one of my previous companies, they replaced a little less than half of the engineering team with outsourced developers to save money. So some companies are, yes, doing it to save money, but the reality is this is a very nuanced conversation. Not all companies are just looking to cut costs. Some companies outsource for the 24-hour development lifecycle. So, they have a team in California, and then they have a team in India or Eastern Europe that picks up the work while they're asleep to keep that code pumping 24/7. On top of that, there are still plenty of roles that legally require US-based authorization, especially in industries like healthcare, finance, and government. And then finally, something that a lot of people don't really talk about is that a lot of startups or companies that want to sell or raise money don't fully outsource their development team because having a strong internal engineering team actually increases their valuation. So from a business standpoint, in-house developers often look the best on paper when they're trying to exit. And for my final thought on this, and I'll say this as nicely as I can, if you're a developer that just does the bare minimum and never contributes to the bigger picture, you're constantly silent in meetings, you're doing the bare minimum amount of work, you're going to be the first one on the chopping block when cost cut happen, regardless if they're because of outsourcing or not. However, if you have great communication skills and you take ownership of the code base and you care about the product that you're working on and not just cranking out Jira tickets, you become way harder to replace. So if you're genuinely worried about outsourcing, I think the best thing you can do is just double down on the stuff that outsourcing, and honestly, AI can't replace, like those soft skills, those communication skills, and then being a good contributor and collaborator. You can also consider leaning towards companies where outsourcing isn't appealing, like government organizations. So anyways, that is my honest and very opinionated take on the market, so please take it with a grain of salt. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.